You hire someone to lighten the load. 2 weeks later, you're still answering questions, fixing mistakes, and wondering why you didn't just do it yourself. Sound familiar? This is what happens when you delegate without structure. Most business owners think they're delegating when they hand off a to do list. Send this email, update this report, schedule this post. But task based delegation keeps your team tied to you. They're waiting for answers, they need your approval, they're stuck, and so are you. Instead of getting time back, you're just managing more work. You accidentally made yourself the bottleneck. Again, I got news for you. There's a better way. So, what's the alternative? It's what I call structured delegation. Instead of telling someone what to do, you tell them what success looks like and you equip them to be successful in the process. Most business owners want the work to look exactly like they would have done it. But here's the truth, that mindset, it limits your growth. Let me give you an analogy. Delegating tasks is like a head chef prepping every single dish themselves. They're still involved in every step, every plate, every decision. But structured delegation, well, that's like a well run kitchen where the chef trains their line cooks to prepare dishes to the same standard portion, size, presentation, timing, without the chef needing to be at the counter. You define the process, you set the standard, and your team delivers consistently. When you do this well, three things happen. First, your team starts to think strategically. They're not waiting for direction, they're solving problems and owning the result. Second, they step into ownership. When someone owns the outcome, they care more, they improve it, they feel responsible. Third, you stop being the bottleneck. They don't need to come back to you for every little decision because they understand what success looks like. They can course correct on their own. But here's why most business owners don't do this. It feels risky, right? You might be thinking, what if they mess up? Or what if they don't do it the way I would? What if I lose control? I get it. Your business is your baby. Every mistake feels personal because it is personal. But here's the truth most business owners miss. If you keep holding on to everything, you're not actually in control. You're just overextended. And your team, well, they can't grow if you never give them the chance to own the outcome. The real question isn't what if they mess up? I think the real question is what if they rise to the challenge? Because here's what I've seen over and over. When you implement structured delegation and give people ownership with time, they can exceed your expectations. They bring ideas you never would have thought of. They solve problems in ways that actually improve your business. But they can only do that if you let them. Does that fear of losing control resonate? Let me know. Have you ever held on to something too long just to make sure it's done right? Let me tell you about a time this played out in my own business. I was responsible for setting up a process that would impact hundreds of business leaders. High stakes, high visibility, the kind of project where mistakes weren't really an option. I had two team members helping me. Both were eager and capable, but they didn't have experience with this specific type of process. At first, we co created everything. I was hands on, giving detailed guidance and reviewing every step. But over time, I started to pull back. Instead of telling them exactly how to handle each situation, I started practicing structured delegation, describing what success looked like, what a great result would mean for the client, and giving them the framework to get there. And here's what happened, they didn't just follow my instructions, they helped create the process. Then over time, they made suggestions to improve the process. It wasn't just my baby, it was our baby. They made recommendations I hadn't thought of. They caught potential issues before they became problems. And if I was away from work, well, no problem. They were also the other experts. Eventually, they completely owned it. It became their product, their responsibility, their area of expertise. And that freed me up to focus on higher level work, the work that only I could do. That's the power of structured delegation. You don't just free up your time, you actually grow your business's bench strength. Can you picture someone on your team who could grow into that kind of ownership with the right support? Just type yes if someone comes to mind. Now, I want to be clear on what I'm not saying. I am not saying you should hand your newest team member the biggest client project and say, figure it out. No, structured delegation isn't reckless, it's intentional. It's about aligning what with the who and adjusting your approach based on the person in front of you. The way I delegate depends on two things. One, how skilled they are, And two, how confident they feel. For seasoned team members, I give more ownership. But for newer ones, I'm going to start smaller and give more structure and support. So if you're thinking, this sounds great, but how do I actually start? You're not alone. Here's a simple way to begin. Step one, take just 10 minutes to think about your zone of brilliance. What's the work that energizes you? It lights you up and it drives real results in your business. Step two, look at what's draining your time and keeping you in the weeds. Step three, pick one, just one low risk, high time suck task that someone else could own. Once you've picked a task to delegate, here's how to apply structured delegation. Number one, define what success looks like. Number two, be clear on the outcome. What should be true when the task is done well? What would make you think, yes, this is exactly what we needed? Three, provide context. Share the bigger picture. Why does this task matter? Who is it impacting? And what's at stake? Four, equip them. Give them the resources, access, or examples that they need to move forward with confidence. Five, step back strategically. Don't micromanage the process. Let them do some figuring out of how to get there. But do build in a check-in or review so that you can give feedback and support their growth. Structured delegation isn't about throwing someone into the deep end. It's about creating the lane and letting them drive. Quick gut check. Do you find it harder to figure out what to delegate or how to delegate it? Type what or how in the comments. I would love to know. Here's what happens when you lean into structured delegation consistently. Your team stops waiting for permission and starts taking ownership. Your business becomes more resilient because it's not dependent on you for every decision. And you finally get the freedom you started your business for. And honestly, your team becomes more engaged. They don't just want to complete tasks, they want to contribute. When you delegate with structure, you're telling them your judgment matters, your creativity matters, you matter. That's how you become what I call a breakaway boss, someone whose business works for them and not because of them. So here's your challenge. Stop delegating tasks, start practicing structured delegation. Your team gets to grow, your business gets to scale, and you finally get the breathing room you've been craving. I'd love to know what's one thing you're ready to delegate this week. Drop it in the comments. I read every single one. And if you're ready to dive deeper into building a business that doesn't depend on you for everything, I've got something that can help. It's my free guide called the 40-Hour Freedom Fast Track. It's packed with practical steps to help you reclaim your time and get more results with less grind. You can grab it at the link in the description below. And if this resonated with you, hit the subscribe button and share this with another business owner who's ready to stop being the bottleneck in their business. That's all for now. I'll see you in the next video.